it's Jess from Meyer Hatchery. I'm just sitting here doing a little shopping at MHYT.com, and I want to answer a question we get quite often. What are the benefits of raising your flock in the fall versus in the spring? Over the last couple years, I've really learned to love raising my flock in the fall, and that's when I get the most of my birds. What are some of the benefits? Well, first is it's overall just cooler outside. The temperatures are equaling out a little bit. The weather's a bit calmer. I don't have to worry as much about those spring thunderstorms. Sometimes we get some spring snow. It's just a calmer overall season. So it's easier for me to brood. I brood on my porch. It is climate controlled and it is the right temperature for our brooder, but it just makes things so much easier. It's also really helpful when I go to move my birds outside that it's not extreme temperatures outside. Another reason that I like to raise my flock in the fall is integration time. So I know this sounds kind of weird, and maybe it ranges from flock to flock, but my flock overall just seems much calmer in the fall versus in the spring. And I find that integrating my flock is a lot easier in the fall than it is in the springtime. Again, every flock is a little bit different, but in general, everybody has just recovered from the fall molt. They're just calm, they're getting ready for winter, and they don't mind the new friends being added into the coop. Another thing that I really like about brooding my flock in the fall versus raising them in the springtime is they're going to go through all their growth over the winter. So after the 6 to 8 weeks, after everybody's fully feathered, they go out into the coop and they do really well even when it's cold outside. And they're doing all their growth in the winter. So they're going through those awkward teenage times and those small molts that they go through while they're getting ready to get to egg laying age. When the spring comes around, they're ready to lay. So I'm not waiting for eggs. They've already grown, they're ready to lay. And as soon as we get the right amount of daylight hours, I'm getting eggs. And it can be pretty early in the springtime. Another reason that I really like to raise my flock in the fall is going back with the temperatures, there's also less bugs. We talked recently about mites and things like that and preventing that in your coop. And I just find it's easier to integrate everybody when there is not as many bugs outside too. It just kind of helps with the whole process. Another really great thing about raising in the fall is if you want to raise in the fall and in the springtime, you can stagger the ages a bit in your flock, which can be helpful if you want to make sure that you are having a continual production of eggs. So maybe you want to start some in the spring and maybe some the following year in the fall. It's just going to help to stagger those ages just a little bit. There are so many benefits to raising your flock in the fall, and for me, it's a lot of fun. I raise both my chicks and my ducklings in the fall, and they do so well. They do really good during the winter time. That's a really common concern that we get is, are they going to be okay in the winter? And they do just fine. Once they're fully feathered, they love it in the coop, and I always joke, I think they like the winter more than I do. I also keep some bigger birds in my coop for when I do integrate my chicks in. So I have a light Brahma and I've got a couple Orpingtons, and they just kind of help to keep everybody extra warm in case we have some extreme cold during the winter time. Hopefully I've given you some inspiration to maybe add to your flock or start your flock this fall. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know and head on over to MeyerHatchery.com and place your fall chick order. Thank you so much for watching and happy chickening!